Shivangi got up from her chair and, bowing her head, said, "Thank you for today's meal, Maharaj. Now we seek your permission to leave." Saying this, she immediately left to hide the tears welling up in her eyes. Her steps were quick, but the pain within her was spreading even faster. A deep wave of anguish was coursing through her heart, breaking her from within every moment. Yet, she managed to hold back her tears with great difficulty. She did not want anyone to see her weakness. She maintained composure on her face, but the moisture in her eyes revealed the truth of her broken spirit. The Maharaj was still standing there, astonished. Shivangi's words kept echoing in his mind. Each word seemed to pierce his heart like an arrow. Moments later, it felt as if the strength had drained from his legs, and he collapsed back into his chair. Seeing this, Yadavji panicked and quickly stepped forward to support him. Concern was clearly visible on his face as well. He had not expected this and was at a loss for what to do now. Because the fault was not of a single person. The fault lay with the circumstances that had given rise to this distance over the years. An eerie silence spread in the room. It felt as if the walls had also become witnesses to this pain. Yadavji gently placed his hand on the Maharaj's shoulder. The Maharaj looked at him. Deep regret, pain, and helplessness were clearly visible in his eyes. Then he took a long, heavy breath, got up from his chair, and spoke in a soft voice. "Yadavji, it is too late. She has gone far away from us now." There was such a break in his voice that anyone who heard it would feel their heart grow heavy. Before Yadavji could say anything, the Maharaj slowly walked towards his chamber. There was no firmness in his steps as before. It seemed as if the weight of years had suddenly fallen on his shoulders. He ordered that no one disturb him and then went into his room, closing the door behind him. The entire chamber was silent. In that stillness, only the sound of his slow breaths could be heard. Upon reaching his chamber, he stood in front of a large wall covered with a heavy curtain. For a few moments, he stared at that curtain, as if trying to gather himself. Then he slowly pulled the rope, and the curtain was drawn back. In front of him was a large portrait of Goddess Saraswati. In that portrait, Saraswati was smiling lovingly. It seemed as if all the happiness of the world resided on her face. Her silver-white hair appeared to sway gently with the breeze, and her vermilion eyes sparkled with the vibrancy of life. Her smile was so affectionate that it felt as if she were still present, watching everything. The Maharaj gazed at that portrait for a while. His eyes began to moisten slowly. With trembling hands, he gently caressed the portrait, and in a choked voice said, "Saraswati, we became a good prince, a good Maharaj too, but we could not become a good father." For a moment, his voice faltered. He closed his eyes and then spoke. "Our daughter calls us Maharaj, not father. When she talks to us, it feels like a stranger is speaking to us. We know that we have hurt her heart because of us. We want to correct this mistake, but now she wants to go far away from us. What should we do, Saraswati?" His voice grew heavier with each word. "We were never taught how to be a father. Our father taught us the same thing. Do not get so attached to anyone that they become your weakness. Once, we saw our weakness when we lost you, and then, out of fear of losing someone again, we distanced ourselves from Shivangi." He took a deep breath, and finally, tears began to flow down his cheeks. "We always watched her, felt every moment of her growing up, but we never called her close. We heard her first word, saw her first step, saw everything, but each time we were afraid that if we got close to her, she too might distance herself from us because of us, just like you did." Silence enveloped the room again. Only the pain of his broken heart echoed in his words. Looking at the portrait, he said in a trembling voice, "But now we can do no more. We must tell her how much we love her. She is our life, our greatest joy. But perhaps we are too late." As he said this, his voice completely broke. Suddenly, the pain, regret, and anger that had been buried within him for years erupted all at once. He struck the wall with his hand in anger. Thud! The sound echoed throughout the room, but the pain in his hand was nothing compared to the pain in his heart. The anguish within him was far deeper than that wound. He slowly leaned against the same wall, closed his eyes, and bowed his head. For the first time, he truly realized that the price of becoming a king was paid by not being able to become a father. And perhaps the heaviest burden of that price was borne by his own daughter. Meanwhile, Shivangi sat by her mother's grave. A deep silence surrounded her. The cold wind was blowing gently, and the leaves of the trees were rustling softly. In that peaceful atmosphere, only the sound of her breaking heart was most audible. She slowly moved forward and hugged the grave tightly. In the next moment, the pain that had been buried within her for years burst forth, and she began to cry uncontrollably. Her tears were continuously falling on the grave. In a trembling voice, she said, "Mother, why are you not here? If only you were here, everything would be different. At least there would be someone to love us. We are so alone, Mother." Her voice kept breaking repeatedly. Why did Maharaj never love us? Why did he not trust us? If he had faith in us, we would not have died like that in the past life. Saying this, she clutched the grave even tighter, as if searching for her mother's lap. We wanted to spend time with him since childhood, but he always pushed us away with some excuse. We went to him every time with hope. Thought maybe today he would let us sit with him. Maybe today he would talk to us like a father. But every time we had to return empty-handed. Tears were continuously flowing from her eyes. But when Priya came, he accepted her. What he could not do in all those years, she did. He trusted her, not us. A deep sense of despair began to show on her face along with the pain. Because of her false accusations and evidence, he even sentenced us to death. In our desire to gain his love and acceptance, we became guilty in everyone's eyes, and we distanced ourselves from everyone without even realizing it. She closed her eyes for a moment. As she recalled the old wounds, the pain within her deepened. Then she said softly, "But now we will not let any mistake happen. On this birthday, the Maharaj will get his beloved daughter back, and then, once again, he will forget us. It would be better if we just leave from here ourselves." Her voice clearly reflected defeat, pain, and exhaustion. Then she looked up at the sky and, feeling utterly helpless, said, "But where to go, Mother? Where? After all, who do we have?" Her body was slowly exhausted. Her mind had already broken. Crying, talking, and pouring out all her pain, Shivangi fell asleep right there by her mother's grave. One of her hands was still resting on the grave, as if she did not want to leave her mother's side. No one knew where Shivangi was, as she had made herself invisible with her spiritual power. No one could find her. The entire palace was enveloped in an unknown restlessness. On one side, Shivangi was distancing herself from the Maharaj, keeping in mind all the memories and events of her past life. She was taking every step carefully, so her heart would not have to endure that pain again. On the other side, the Maharaj felt completely helpless, as his own daughter was refusing to call him father. This distance was not just of words, but of years of unspoken emotions, unfinished relationships, and suppressed pain. The Maharaj wanted to do everything possible to keep Shivangi close, but on the other hand, Shivangi was trying her best to distance herself from him. A father was fighting out of fear of losing his daughter, and a daughter was trying to protect her broken heart from breaking again. Both loved each other, but between them stood years of misunderstandings and unfinished truths, forming a massive wall. Would the Maharaj lose his daughter forever, or would she return to him? Would Shivangi head towards revenge, or towards self-discovery? What truth from her past life is still hidden that could change everything? Will the upcoming birthday mark a new beginning, or will it be another reason for separation? To find out, read the next chapter.